Welcome to the RYA's Foiling Top Tips. My name is Shaun Priestley, I'm the RYA Sail Foil Coach Assessor, and in the following video we're going to give you some top tips on how to take your first foiling flight. Enjoy the video and good luck on the water. So we are going to have a look at our first flights. So in order to get up in the air and to get flying for the first time, one of the first times, we have to take off. So this is where the boat is going to go from displacement mode in the water. The foils start to work, the boat lifts out, there is a big reduction in drag from the hull of the boat, so the boat starts to go really fast and you're out of the air and flying for the first time. In the beginning, it's quite important to note that a foiling boat behaves considerably different to a boat sailing in displacement mode, and things happen a little bit faster. So it is really important to get a few key techniques under control just to help you start to lift out and understand the difference in the balance and the physics of how the boat's sailing, basically. So we're gonna do this by having a look at this boat here. So Josh in the skeeter here is just about to take off. If you have a look, the boat is literally at the point of taking off. You'll notice from here he looks quite nice in control. He's got the sheet, the tiller is hiked out, the boat balance looks good, and the foils are starting to work as a result of that. To get to this point, you have to go through a few things. So it's important to know your sailing angle, which is then the course that you're going to be taking. It's important to sail for windward heel. So the boat balance has a huge impact on the success of your first flights. The sail setting, so you'll have a look there. Josh is like reached out, he's grabbed a sheet. So how you play the sheet has a big impact on the boat balance, and that is really critical. And then to a lesser extent, your body weight and the trim, depending on the boat. If you're sailing in adaptive boats, then certainly that is very important. But in the wing boats, it's less important as the other points. So just to recap, that's the sailing angle, so your course and how you're steering, windward heel, so boat balance, sail setting, so how you trim the main sheet, and that has a big effect on boat balance, and then the trim where you are fore and aft in the boat. So if we have a look at this clip, we'll see what happens, and I'll try and break through bit by bit. So the first thing that we'll just notice here right from the start is that to take off, Josh pulls the sheet in really tight at this point. That's because the boat's now starting to lift out of the water. The boat will start to go a lot faster because there's less friction from the hull, but that will move your apparent wind forward. So quite often at this point, you do need to sheet onto that power. It'll give you that bit of additional speed to get going, trim the sail to the right angle, and you'll be off sailing. The angle that Josh will be at here is probably around a beam reach. A beam reach, you can't really go that wrong. Sometimes you can take off a little bit higher on a close reach, or sometimes you need to go a little bit lower to get control of the boat onto a broad reach, which is something you'll see in a second. So we've used an armful of main sheet to keep the power in the rig as the apparents move forwards. We've got the boat heel to windward, and we're sailing on a reach. As the boat then lifts up, you'll immediately see that Josh, taking into account you always need windward heel, and it's really important, is already easing that main sheet. Look, he's easing it quite a long way, and that is to try and get control of the balance. If the boat's heel to leeward, it simply will not foil properly, and all the forces will be asking the boat to come back into the water. So easing of the main sheet is one critical thing that Josh is doing here to get control over the balance of the boat so it remains foiling, and that's really important on one of your first flights. Once he gets control and he's got windward heel, he trims back in to manage the power from the sail and to sail off into the distance. One of the other really important things that's going on, as well as trimming that sheet to ensure you've always got windward heel, is the course that we're sailing. So like we said at the start, we're taking off on a beam reach. But in order to regain control of the boat and to manage the power from the sail, you'll notice that at this point we bear away a little bit just to get the boat back under the rig. So we take off, we're all good, we're a little bit overpowered, and just here you see we're bearing away ever so slightly, and there, just to sail slightly lower, Similar to what you would do if you was in an asymmetric going downwind and with an asymmetric kite, sorry, in a boat going downwind and the boat was to heel to leeward, you bear away just to keep it flat. Very similar principle, just to manage the balance. This is all around the course angle that you're sailing, and it's why it's quite difficult to say, oh, just select a goal point straight across the wind and point at that. I mean, yes, you can do that within reason, but it's important to know that you need to have a subtle steering ability just to manage the balance of the boat. And if you have a look at how that's done here, it's done really well by using minimum tiller movements. So at this point there, it's really small movements to bear away, ease of the sheet as well, all to regain control of the boat balance. So we're heel to windward, and then we can get going again. So to recap, just before takeoff, we're ready to pull that sheet in to trim it to the apparent. We've got the boat heel to windward, and we're sailing on about a beam reach. Body weight's less important, like I said, in the wing boats, but if you have a look, shoulders are back a little bit just to encourage a little bit more angle on the foil underneath so the boat lifts out. As we do lift out, sheet that sheet on. Perhaps it's done a little bit too much, but we sheet the sheet on to keep the speed up, trim to the new apparent, and the boat's lifted out of the water. At this point here, we're starting to lose the balance a little bit and the boat's starting to heel to leeward. As we said, windward heel is critical. So Josh is starting to ease the main sheet and to subtly bear away and steer the boat under the rig. So course angle was a beam reach to start with. He's gone a little bit broader to get control. Boat balance was windward heel to start with. He's now easing the sheet because he lost that a bit to get control again. Windward heel has come back and we're starting to sheet onto the apparent and sail off at a nice angle.